everyone, welcome back to my channel, Conquer College Admissions. My name is Julie Kim, and now I'm mentoring high school students to get accepted into their dream colleges. Make sure to hit the subscribe button before we get started if you are new here. And also let me know in the comments, what is your plan for Christmas? What is your plan to wrap up this year? I would love to know because I'm really not doing too much. So today's video is a little bit different in a sense that we're going to answer some personal questions. I know I talk about college admissions and all of that, and while they are helpful and fun, sometimes we just need to spice it up a little bit. So on Instagram, by the way, if you're not following me, follow me. My handle is @Julie_Kim7. Follow me there. I share strategies and tips and it's really fun. So anyway, I asked you guys about a month ago what questions you had for me, like personal questions, because I wanted to kind of share a little bit more about my life, my journey, my story, and I'm also a huge advocate when it comes to mindset and mental health and all of those things. And so I do have really good strategies that I can share with you. So I've got my phone and I'm gonna go ahead and go through the questions and answer some of them for you. So let's go ahead and get started. And before we start this, I highly recommend that you register for my free training. You can register at www.juliekimconsulting.com/masterclass. And in that masterclass, I'm going to teach you 4 mistakes that you must avoid and then 4 strategies that you must implement if you want to get accepted into your dream Ivy League and top tier colleges. You guys, the acceptance rate is so low, and MIT, Harvard, all these schools, the EDEA applicant pool increased by like 40%, 50%. It's so crazy. So highly recommend that you watch it if you want to stand out. And yeah, I'll see you inside the free training, but let's go ahead and dive into the personal questions. So the first question is from Brandon, and he's asking, how do I deal with parents pressuring us to do what they want? Can we all agree here? So I love that Brandon asked this question because I'm sure it's something that you're all struggling with. And I know parents watch my videos, I know students watch my videos. So let's talk about this. I think a lot of the times parents want us to do certain things that they think is good, like go to an Ivy League school, be a doctor, be a lawyer, blah blah blah. And the reason behind all of that is only but good intentions, right? But this is not just a parent question, but this is just applicable to everyone. We live in this world where there are so many expectations from parents, friends, and then society, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and you have to make a decision for yourself what you really want, because this is your life. At the end of the day, when it's time for us to, die, and I know that sounds really morbid, but it's true, I don't want to look back and say, wow, I lived a life that my parents wanted me to live. I think sometimes we need to look at this in a broader perspective because yes, parents want the best for us. Parents have good strategies and advices for our lives, but I get to run my own life. And so I'm not telling you to not listen to your parents, but you should know what advice that you're gonna take from your parents and what you're not. Thankfully, I didn't have parents that were very demanding on me because I think my dad, and especially my dad, like he was always open to my dreams and goals, and I'm truly thankful for that. But I do hear from my friends and this community and my students that there is that discrepancy between parents and students. But that's why knowing your value is so important, because if your value is to be creative and your parents are saying don't be creative, then that's just something that you need to share and communicate with your parents. And communication is very important. You can't just say like, Mom, I don't want to do that, stop talking to me, and just go into your room. You have to talk, right? So just making it really clear, like, Mom, I understand where you're coming from, and I get that you're feeling this, this, and that about my career options. However, what I really like to do is this, and this is very important to me. And I think just having a heart-to-heart conversation is very important. I think it'll be a constant battle. I don't think that it's something that gets fixed overnight, but it can be improved. Anyway, having good conversation is always good. All right, so the next question that I got is favorite books. As you guys can see here, I love reading self-help books. So I thought I would recommend 3. I don't really get stingy about spending money on education. Like, to me, that's the biggest investment. Hence, I'm just like, if someone recommends me a book, I just get it and I read it. Or if I can't read it then, I'll read it later. So the very first book is Lewis Hayes' The Power of a Book. And this is actually one of the first self-help books that I read. Very easy to read and digest. It kind of walks you through like the basic self-help. So if you're just starting out and you want to improve your life, if you want to feel more confident, if you want to like just know what your power is, then I would start with this book. One of my goals is to write my own book and get it published from the Hay House. So I'm just putting it out there. The second book that I recommend is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. This one is not your typical self-help book. It dives into so many new ideas. It's not something conventional. It's not something traditional. If anything, she's trying to break the tradition. She's trying to break the norms, the things that really suffocate us. And so this is like so refreshing. The writing is very creative, like almost kind of reads like a poetry, but it's not a poetry. Love this. So she also has high school daughters, and she also talks about like parenting them. So mom, dad, high school students, you could all pick this up. The third book that I would recommend is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And this book basically talks about a few things. Number one, how you can find your interest and passion. A lot of the things that I teach my students, it derives from here. And also it talks about how we self-sabotage our success in our lives. So like, it's crazy because you think that like, oh, the world is happening to me and like I'm the victim, but no, you are causing yourself to be a victim. It's crazy. So definitely check this book out. I am gonna read this book again because I feel like once we hit our goal, it's like we self-sabotage ourselves again. So I feel like I need to read this book right now as well. So those are 3 book recommendations for you and all. And if I have more from the back, I'll probably do like another video or something like that. So the second question is, what is some advice you would give to your high school self about striving for your goals? I actually would tell myself to just be more honest with myself. I think when I was in high school, I was so focused on trying to fit this category of like, I have to be smart, I have to be popular, I have to look a certain way. And because I didn't, because I was like super overweight and then I didn't have the best SAT scores, like I felt like a constant disappointment. And I would just tell myself to be honest, like what is it that I really want? I feel like sometimes I had these academic goals or college goals because like my friends had the same goal, or the society told us that it's, good if you go to Harvard and it's bad if you go to UC Irvine, like I would just be true to myself and be more honest. And I know that that's so hard as high school students because it's kind of like your first adulthood, right? Where there's like, conflict and relationships and competition and all of that kind of stuff, like drama. And if you're dating, like there's dating drama, right? So I would tell myself to be honest. And in terms of setting my goals, I actually think that I, did a really good job. One of the traits that I'm really proud of is that I set really high goals for myself. And that's because I want to test my potential. Back in the days, I set my goals to impress people, but now I set my goals to see like, how far can I really go? Like, what is it that I am really, really capable of? And so that's sort of what I would tell myself. But you guys, just being honest with yourself is so important because I feel like we always have this like mask of trying to be someone we're not and trying to act someone we're not. And let me tell you, like when I was in high school, I tried to be like other people. I even like wrote like one of the girls that I really admired. Like I copied her handwriting. That's how obsessive I got with trying to be like someone else, right? So just being honest with myself, loving myself more, totally. So that's my suggestion and advice there. The next question is, how do you stay motivated even when it gets difficult? So I love this question because I think I've handled a lot of difficult situations in my life. I'm sure all of you guys face difficult things in life. So I think that's the first thing to really acknowledge, because when we are in resistance, when we are denying the reality, it brings us a lot of pain, right? So just realizing that life is a balance of good and bad, right? We live in this law of polarity, like things are hot, things are cold, things are really expensive, things are really affordable. I feel like we do live in this law of polarity, and just realizing that like life can get difficult sometimes. But having gone through many types of difficulty in my life, I feel like after every difficulty, I came out of that difficulty as a new person. Not as like a totally new person, but as a person who has more wisdom, more experiences, more confidence. And I think that life throws us difficult times and experiences for a reason. And as soon as I accepted that, it was easier for me. And that's not to say when I, encounter difficult things in my life today, I'm like, oh well, like I should be grateful for this difficulty. No, I go through like, oh, like why is this happening to me? This is so stressful. But I have to train my thoughts and feelings and to really get into a place of gratitude and appreciation. Like, what can I learn from this difficulty or obstacle? One of the things that I do to stay motivated is to tell myself that life is short and that life is not as serious as we think it is. I always think about like, if I live 70 years or 80 years, 90 years or 100 years, what I want to be remembered as. So first thing is that I lived without regrets. Number two is that I made a difference in the world. And the third thing is that I only had good intentions for my life, my business, and the students that I mentor, and whatever I will get to do one day. So when I think about the bigger picture of my life, it gets me really motivated. And the fact that I can change the world, I can change education, I think that really also inspires me as well. When I was aiming for Harvard, it was really hard because I felt like no one trusted me or no one believed in me. But I think that was there in my life because I feel like I was tested to prove it to myself that I can do it. And once I got into Harvard and studied there, it was literally the best experience of my life. And I'm still happy about the fact that I went to Harvard, So do what makes you happy, because that's what's gonna motivate you. Like if you're doing things for your parents, if you're doing things for other people or society, that's not gonna bring you happiness nor motivation. So the last question that I wanna answer is, Sophie is asking, where do you see yourself in your business in 5 years? And thank you so much for asking this question, because it kind of got me to think about it as well. I'm on a mission to create the best college consulting program in the country, where our focus is not on rankings and trying to impress others and just push through life, but instead inspire and motivate high school students to live from a place of honesty, love, true values, passion. And so I see my business to have both kinds of services, where one is very much focused on college admissions because that's something that I'm really good at, and then another one being something to do with mindset. And we are growing really quickly, our business, and that just tells me that I'm impacting a lot of students, right? So I see that happening. I would also like to see myself in 5 years. So I'm getting married next year in Korea. So my fiance and my family, everyone's in Korea. My parents still live in LA, but they are moving to Korea. So we'll be getting married in Korea next year in August. So I'll probably share some clips of that here if you guys are interested. And then, so I'll probably be a mom by then. And my fiance and I are planning to move. So right now we are in California because my fiance is currently in a residency program. So he's an oral and maxillofacial surgery resident. So once he's done with this program next year, we're gonna actually move out of California. And so we're thinking of a few options. And so we'll probably be in a different state. And I also want to host a lot of live events once this COVID thing is over. So we'll be doing a lot of conferences and live events for high school students. So that's another thing that we'll be working on. And that's where I see myself in 5 years. All right, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this personal live Q&A. Thank you all for submitting the questions on Instagram. Before I go, I want to share with you that I'm really grateful for you and for watching this YouTube video and subscribing to this channel and being inside our community. And I also highly recommend that you check out my free training. Again, the link is www.jessica juliekimconsulting.com/masterclass, and you can use that to start off your 2021 right. So register for that free training today or tomorrow. I'll see you in there. And that's it. Happy holidays, happy new year almost, and I'll be back here with another video next week. Bye.